Welcome to CFTE Global. In this video, we will be talking about motivation. How to motivate yourself or others. What works and what doesn't. When learning how to motivate yourself or others, the first thing you need to remember is that motivation is never black and white. It is not like people are either motivated or unmotivated. It is a grey area. The degree to which people are motivated will differ from person to person. The factors that motivate also differ. A task that seems enjoyable to one might not necessarily be the same for another. Hence, one person is motivated to do it while the other isn't. In this video, I will be explaining the different kinds of motivation with examples so that you can apply it practically in your own life. Before I go into the two types of motivation and its subcategories, I want to discuss certain basic psychological needs that human beings have. They are competence, autonomy, and relatedness. These needs should be met if we are to become psychologically healthy. Competence. We all have a need to feel competent, to know that we are capable, efficient individuals. If you want to know how to motivate yourself or others, cater to this basic need and make them feel that they are competent. How? This is where the feedback system comes into play. Keep in mind that positives trump negatives when it comes to feedback. Relatedness. Humans are social beings. We need to feel that we belong somewhere, that we are part of a community. Make this basic need work for you. Studies show that kids who were treated with respect by teachers were more likely to follow school regulations. Treat people with respect and provide emotional support. This will keep them more motivated. Autonomy. A sense of autonomy means a sense of independence. It is the feeling of being free to explore and not be controlled. For example, if someone forces you to do something, you will be less motivated to do it. But when the same task is presented with a freedom of choice, that is, you do it if you want to, or not do it if you don't want to, you are more enthusiastic about it. That's the power of autonomy. When it comes to motivation, control is bad and autonomy is good. Deadlines, competition pressure are viewed as controllers of behavior, which is why over-pressurizing and comparing tactics backfire more often than not. Keeping these basic needs in mind, let us explore the types of motivation. The two types of motivation are intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation. A person is said to have intrinsic motivation when he or she is doing something for internal satisfaction instead of doing it for external reasons, external pressure or rewards. The reasons could be many. Maybe they find it fun, enjoyable, challenging, or they are doing it out of curiosity. You want intrinsic motivation to be nurtured and not diminished. How to motivate yourself or others? By putting this to practical use. Make a task as interesting and optimally challenging as possible to hold a person's interest. This way, no external reward is required to motivate the person. Where does intrinsic motivation come from? By birth, humans are curious, active, and playful. When you observe babies and toddlers, you notice that they are constantly moving around and wanting to explore new things. Does anyone tell the baby to be that way? No. Humans are hardwired to explore and learn. But as we grow older, this starts to fade due to external factors. We become loaded with responsibilities and are required to do things even if it doesn't intrinsically motivate us. This is why the study of extrinsic motivation becomes so important when learning how to motivate yourself. Extrinsic motivation. A person is said to have extrinsic motivation when he or she does something for external reasons. What reasons? It could be avoiding punishment, expecting reward, approval, and such. Extrinsic motivation can be further classified as external regulation, introjection, identification, integration. External regulation. This is a classic case of extrinsic factors that affect motivation, where the task gets done grudgingly because the person wants to avoid punishment or expects reward of some sort. This is the least effective and least sustainable form of motivation, and it is completely external. For example, clean your bedroom or I will take away your TV time. Or, clean your bedroom and you will get extra TV time. Taking away TV time equals to punishment, and giving extra TV time is reward. Introjections. This involves doing a task to seek approval from self or others, to avoid guilt or to attain self-esteem. This type of motivation is still somewhat external because your self-esteem is coming from external things, and you are trying to avoid negative feelings by doing an external task. Also, the lack of self-esteem and other negative feelings act as controllers. Remember, control is bad and autonomy is good. This may be slightly more effective than external regulation. For example, a person feels a sense of self-worth through his or her job and does it to attain that sense of worth. Identification. This is where a person is consciously valuing something and making an effort because it helps them achieve their goals. For example, a student doing homework because she wants to advance her career. This is somewhat internal and more effective than the previous two. The student here makes a choice of whether or not she wants to advance her career. It is not controlled by anyone or anything. It is good as it symbolizes autonomy. Integration. A person might internalize and integrate the process such that it becomes a part of self. This is internal and the most effective of all types of extrinsic motivation. For example, a boy who enjoys and values writing might initially memorize spellings because it facilitates writing, which is identification. But eventually, he starts to internalize the reasons for this task and starts valuing the process of memorization as much as writing. The more internal the motivation, the more it is in sync with basic human nature and hence more effective. It is shown that when it comes to creative and analytical tasks, intrinsic motivation makes them efficient performers. So, the best thing is to make the task enjoyable or challenging or fun. If you can't, then you will have to rely on extrinsic motivation and make it as internal as possible. One last example to explain how the 4 types of extrinsic motivation work. Household chores done by spouse. Reward with something when the chore gets done, or punish by taking away something when the chore doesn't get done. Least effective method. They feel good helping out and they do it, but don't induce guilt or make them feel unworthy. That's manipulation and it is not a good thing. Less effective. Make them see that it adds value to their relationship goals. Little effective. Eventually, they will internalize this into their own self and do it without being told. Most effective. Lastly, don't forget about competence, autonomy, and relatedness needs. So, combine all this and you will know how to motivate yourself better too. Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on motivation. Give me examples if need be. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.